right, today we're going to talk again about Standard 654, which is Patricians versus Plebeians. First thing we're going to do is a little warm-up quiz. Go ahead, hit it. Here we go. So I want you to answer these 6 questions. This goes back again to the Greeks. So I want you to take about 1 minute. You all should be able to answer these 6 questions in 1 minute. There's your answer to the quiz. I don't have any Diet Dr. Nuff today, so Dr. Nuff, if you ever watch my videos, you guys send me some Diet Dr. Nuffs. All right, number 1. The form of government where people vote on laws. Raise your hand if you think it's an A. The form of government when people vote on laws. Okay, 1 person thinks it's an A. 2 people think it's an A. 3, 4, yeah, it's A. It's A. Well, obviously, a republic is you're going to vote on representatives. They will vote on the laws. Democracy is where you vote on the law. Monarchies where you're going to have a king, and dictatorships where you're going to have like someone who just takes over and rules everything. The form of government where people vote on representatives. 1 for democracy, 2 for republic, 3 for monarchy, 4 for dictatorship. Right, yeah, monarchy, republic, good. Who won the Peloponnesian War? 1 for Athens, 2 for Rome, 3 for Persia, 4 for Sparta. Guys, y'all think, some of you think Rome won the Peloponnesian War? Rome wasn't even a thing. 4, right, okay, good, 4. Sparta, remember, Peloponnesian War, Athens versus Sparta. Sparta won. What type of government did Athens develop after the Persian Wars? Athens. One, yeah, it's democracy. There was no such thing as a republic yet till we get Rome. I hope y'all get this right on the test. Y'all are scaring me right now. During the period of the Roman Republic, what type of government did Rome have? Obviously, that's going to be a republic, right? Think, when you're looking at our test, you think AD, Athens democracy. You think RR, Roman Republic. Does that make sense? That help you out a little bit? Good. Who won the Persian Wars? We know that the Greek city-states won the Persian Wars, right? Everybody agree? All right, good. Next again. There we go. All right, describe the class system of ancient Rome, including the role of patricians, plebeians, and slaves in the Roman society. Next. So our essential question, write this down. How are some people treated differently than others? Is there space to write that down? Yeah, essential question. If you can't see, if you can't see, well, if I'm in your way, then just move over here, okay? Because I have to be here. Who's still writing? Next. Patricians versus plebeians. We can already tell by our picture, patricians are going to be rich, plebeians are going to be the poor, right? You can tell by the picture. Next. Disenfranchised. Women could not participate in government decisions, office, or voting. Women were seen as the same as children. Now, don't get your daubers down. Don't get all, I'm mad about that. We don't judge people in the past with the standards of the present. That's called presentism. It's not like the Romans didn't love their women. They did. Slaves. Slaves made up about 1/3 of the population. Pretty big number. Slaves were mostly war captives who were owned by citizens and had no rights. You don't really see race-based slavery for much later. You know, most of the slavery had to do with economic status. If you couldn't pay your debts, you could sell yourself into slavery, or war captives. That's mostly how it went. Next. Anybody still writing? Anybody still writing on that first one? Okay. Plebeians. The plebeians were the lower class common folk of Rome. The plebeians included the regular people in ancient Rome, from the well-to-do tradesmen all the way down to the very poor. If I'm here, is that anybody's way? Because I think I'm in their way if I'm over there. Who's still right? Thumbs up when you're ready. Next. The plebeians were citizens with no rights to vote. They were barred from holding office. Many plebeians were in heavy debt to patricians. That's not good. We know that the patricians, would certainly take advantage of the plebeians if they got the chance. And if you're in power, your goal is to keep power. Unfortunately. Next. The patricians were the upper class nobility of Rome. Patricians inherited their power and social status. Ancestry gave the patricians authority. It did matter in Roman society who your daddy was. If your daddy was a rich and powerful person, you were going to be a rich and powerful person. That's how the world worked back then. That is not something that we have here. Now, if your daddy was rich and powerful and gives you money, you're going to have every opportunity to be rich and powerful. But there's no guarantee. Next. And next again. Next again. Patrician families controlled all society: politics, religion, economics, military. Magistrates, judges, and priests mostly came from the patrician order. They maintained power through economic suppression. The best way to keep your power is to keep the other people down and in their place. We very much fight against that in this country. Now, we don't always succeed, but we try. Okay? It should everybody we believe in something called equality of opportunity. You'll hear words in society today, something called equity. We should have equity. No, we shouldn't. Equity means equality of outcome. That is communism. We don't want that. Communists are bad. We want equality of opportunity. Everybody should have the same opportunity to either be a success or a loser. Right? It should depend on you. Next. Patricians versus plebeians. Next again. Invaders are coming. We need soldiers. The plebeians should fight for us. I bet this patrician will want us to fight for them. Plebeians, you will go to war and fight for Rome. We will not fight until we are given more rights. Okay, we will give you rights if you help protect us. For rights, we will fight for Rome. That's kind of how it went. That's not an exact conversation, but it's probably pretty close. Next, the results. Tribunes were finally developed to protect the rights of the plebeians from unfair patricians. The tribunes had veto power over the other branches of government, which means if the patricians passed a law that hurt the plebeians, then the tribunes could veto that law. Say, no, we're not going to do that. Now, was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect. But it was better. It was better. Next. The official laws that ensured that the plebeians could not be surprised and would know the law. These were called the 12 tables. It's always important to have your laws written down. That way you can say, well, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Ignorance is no excuse. You think if a police officer pulls you over and you try to say, well, I didn't know how fast the speed limit was. There's a law that says ignorance is no excuse. You can't say, well, I didn't know I couldn't do that. You better know. Are all our laws written down? They most certainly are. Yes. Next. Next. All right. So, as we say in my class, go forth and learn because knowledge is power.